Bob and Kath, welcome to Campfire Conversations. The main thing that I wanted to have a chat to you about was something that Kath mentioned earlier, and that was diving with some wonderful creatures on the west coast. Now, we'll get to those, but I just want to establish where you've been, what you've done, who you are, I guess. Now, Bob, you're a muso?
Correct.
I mean, you're a retired muso, but...
Well, retired muso, played in brass bands, big bands,
Yeah.
cabaret bands, jazz bands,
What do you play?
trumpet,
Beautiful.
electric bass a long time ago, but no more.
Right. And Kath, you're a teacher, yeah?
I'm a retired teacher.
Retired teacher. I love that word, retired. We're going to get there one day. How nice is that? Now, you've got a map out for me. That is awesome. And we call you people... I wonder if I have to bleep this. Bugger it. Bastards. Because you've gone places and that we haven't.
Well, actually, we're not really. We're just great.
You're just great. Hey, looking at this map, wow, you've got trips from 2006, 10, 11, 12, 13. Wow, just about every year. You've been away somewhere, some longer, some shorter.
Well, we manage it and we deserve it. But we worked hard for these 38 years,
Yeah,
and now we're doing what we can while we can,
right.
basically.
And the maps are pretty inclusive. You've actually got a different colour-coded thing for every year. Blue dots, red dots, black lines, etc. So you've gone up the top.
Up to Cape York.
Yeah, up to Cape York. You've gone up to Darwin, straight through the middle. You've gone across to the west. You've done the Gibb River Road and down, obviously, past Ningaloo, which we'll get to in a bit later. Yeah. Kath, you are from South Africa,
That's
yeah?
right, originally.
How long have you been in Australia?
21 years now.
Oh, you're Australian. That's it.
Yeah.
You're true and true.
That's right.
Being here and travelling this great country, what does that mean to you?
It means everything. It's just amazing to be able to go out there and have the freedom to do what we do. Because where I come from, originally in Africa, you wouldn't be able to do that. So the experience of being able to go out there in the middle of nowhere and not have that fear of attack is absolutely amazing. So, yes.
And you do go to the middle of nowhere, don't you?
We do, where there's just not a soul in sight. And people ask me, aren't you scared when you're going out to these places? And I say, no, in all the thousands and thousands of kilometres of free camping and off-roading we've done, there's never been one time that I've actually felt compromised. The only time was at Gregory Downs. We camped in this middle of nowhere in a paddock, and early hours of the morning we heard this breathing and sort of moving around.
Wasn't Bob.
And it wasn't Bob.
No, I wasn't breathing.
And and we looked out and we were surrounded by all these cows. All these inquisitive cows. So
Nudging the caravan.
yeah,
as
nudging
well,
the
so-
caravan. So, and that I think was probably the most scariest.
Okay.
But apart from that, we haven't had an incident touch with.
Oh, we should explain, I guess, what sort of vehicle you have and the van, of course. The vehicle is a Prado,
Yep.
but that's not the one that you've gone on every trip. You've upgraded.
This is the last one,
Right.
the 2018
Yeah,
model
true,
that
yeah.
we took up to Ningaloo,
Okay.
thereafter.
And behind that, you...
And we've got a track trailer Topaz,
Mhm.
off-road caravan, two-wheel,
Yeah.
2.2 tonnes.
So it's got all the luxuries, that you
Well-
need. It doesn't have the shower and toilet, but that's
Yes,
you've got that at the back.
Yes.
Is that correct?
It's
Yeah.
got a shower and
Well,
toilet.
there's a little flap about 2 feet long and 6 inches high that opens up.
Right.
And that's where your hot and cold water is, running
Right.
water.
Yeah.
Hot and cold.
And we just have a shower out in the middle of nowhere.
Because you can.
And the good thing about it is we don't have to clean the shower.
That's right.
The water runs away,
Yeah.
if we're allowed to.
Yeah. Grey water, of
And,
course.
and then off we go.
And that's done all right for you, the track on the
It's
journey?
been-
It's had its ups and downs?
In
No,
all
it
fairness,
wasn't.
because I'm constructive about doing a lot of the repairs myself anyway, and I spoke to the track trailer, and everything that was wrong with it that I couldn't fix, they've come to the party, and we've had a really good relationship with that
Yeah.
company now.
Yeah. So they've done the right thing, and
They
you
have.
did the right thing by contacting them direct and talking it over, yeah?
Oh yeah, well we bought it from direct anyway, there was no retailer
Okay.
in between,
Mhm.
so that made it a bit easier too.
So out of all of these trips, is there the best?
Oh, no. It's all experience. Wonderful experience.
No.
Making memories?
Each and every one of them has been very, very special. You look at the Gibb River one, that was amazing. This last one we did, amazing. Up to Cape York, amazing. Each has its own beauty to it. So I couldn't say there's a favourite one, but I must, in saying that, say that Western Australia is the jewel in the crown.
Really?
That is the most beautiful part of Australia, all the way down the west coast.
Well, most of it, except where the mining is just pristine.
Oh, amazing. Especially down in the southern part of Western Australia, those beaches are pristine. White sand, amazing beaches.
Okay.
So that's really
And you haven't stuck to the main drag, have you? You haven't stuck even to the main roads.
No.
There's little dots here on places that I didn't even know there were roads existing.
The interesting thing about this is people rave about the caravan parks they stayed at. We have no idea because we rarely use caravan parks.
Right.
We just pull up on the side of the road or use national park campgrounds or the layoffs up and down the Stewart Highway and across mostly around Western Australia. You know, they have these places you can stay for 24 hours. We never managed 24 hours because we're pulled up in the afternoon and off again the next day.
Off you go.
Because we've got too much to see. Perhaps we should sometime just stay.
So yeah, we try and stay at least 2 days at places, just to, but if you've got limited time.
Well, we didn't, but usually we only stay one day, and Wikicamps is probably the most useful tool we've had in the last 8 years.
Okay.
When we joined Wikicamps, I think it was probably in 2012, 2011,
Right,
12.
but you'd been away to 2006, 2010 before
No,
that.
but we found our way without we had,
Okay.
had Camps Australia book,
Yeah.
Right.
but we didn't really use it
That
too
was our
often.
Bible then,
Yeah.
but now Wikicamps is amazing because it gives you up-to-date information. And so we find that gives us all these little way-off places, and it's great. It's got a rating and all that, and then we give our feedback as well.
So we're talking a digital platform,
That's
and
right.
over here we've got a paper platform.
A real,
Which do you prefer? Or is it a combination?
Oh, this is just the record
Yeah.
of trips.
Yeah, but do you still have a paper map?
No, because we do sometimes. We have a road atlas of Australia, which is fairly out of date now, and that's good for just a brief look rather than having to, especially if you've got no coverage. And that's the one good thing about Wikicamps is that you can download all of the information. You don't need any internet coverage to look for where you're going. And with a couple of other little apps I've got on my phone which don't rely on the internet, the maps are downloadable as well. It's just so convenient to just have that small unit that you can do everything on, rather than have a stack of paper that takes up space as well.
Do you research your trips?
He does.
Kat's pointing at Bob. Oh my God, research. In front of, they've just handed me a
It's a spreadsheet.
spreadsheet covered with,
It's a plan,
right.
but it gives us an idea of where we might be in a particular time and the distance we're travelling and even bitumen, dirt roads.
Oh my gosh.
So we can average out the time it's going to take us. And with this last trip that we did 10,600 kilometres, we averaged 200 kilometres a day. Now that's doable.
Now, you're talking dirt roads, you're talking undulating, all sorts of...
And bitumen, yeah.
Yeah.
And I suppose 50% would have been dirt, I suppose, or 40% would have been dirt. So that's 40,000, 50,000 kilometres, 4 or 5,000 out of the 10
10,600.
was dirt. But it's just a guide. And as it turned out, we didn't need to go down as far as Geraldton to catch up with friends because they were in Perth house sitting.
Oh, okay.
So we saved a couple of days there, and we picked it up along the way. So we spent a bit more time on the Great Central Road. But it's not the Bible, but it's just a guide. And I sent it out to the family and a few close friends so they know where we are. And that's not really teasing, but it sort of is.
Once again, bastards. Yeah.
But we also carry a sat phone.
Okay.
And so they know if they need to contact us, we are contactable. So we have a sat phone, and we've got all the necessary safety things in place when we go off-road.
Did you always have a sat phone, or is it the fact that maybe on one of the trips you discovered that you thought, oh, we needed one?
No,
we never needed one.
The first time we did Gibb River Road was
Yes.
we thought we'd take
We'd
it
get
just
one.
because we knew there was no coverage out there. And little did we realise that it's pretty busy out there, so if you did break down, there's a fair chance somebody will come along and rescue you.
I think the needing was when we had to phone Estelle for her birthday and sing happy birthday.
Oh, of course.
And so those little milestones, but
Yeah.
we've never... Actually, yes, there was one time in the Geographical Centre of
At the
Australia,
Lambert Centre.
the Lambert Centre,
When we,
uh,
the shock absorber came with the brand new set that we had fitted, and they weren't tightened down properly.
Right.
And so when we got back to the Stewart Highway, we rang the mechanic down here and he arranged for a replacement to Alice Springs. So, but apart from that, we've never had to use it. But it's there just in case. It's typical insurance, isn't it?
it's like Max Tracks and high lift...
High lift jacks
Yeah.
jacks.
Yeah.
Same
and
thing.
winches.
Same thing. They look good though, don't they?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
They're necessary.
Right. Let's talk about the last trip, because that to me I think is well, it's obviously fresh in your mind. Tell me where you went from, where you went to, and where you ended up. Well, you ended up home, but
Well, we went from
Adelaide. Yeah.
up via Port Augusta and across the top of Eyre Peninsula. Got to Ceduna and went to the oyster bar there and just by the border control and
So it's not all roughing it. Yeah.
oh, this was roughing it. We had them unchapped.
Yeah.
No, we didn't actually.
Don't tell lies. But then we meandered out across the bight.
Yeah.
Stayed on the edge of the
spot.
continent at Bunter Cliffs. 20 or 30 metres from the edge of the continent.
Wow.
Right there.
300 metre drop to the bottom, and just amazing sunrises and mist and all that sort of stuff. And then out to Cockabiddy. On the way at Penong, we had a look at the windmills.
Yes.
There's a
Yeah,
windmill
I've
museum.
got photos of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Amazing.
And then at Cockabiddy, asked the locals about the best way to get up to the Trans-Access Road on the railway line, and so the guy suggested we go back 10 kilometres towards home and go up north to Hague.
Right.
So it was 180 kilometres, and I think it
On
took
the
us
good.
6 hours to do that over sheet rock and
And
just
about
2 wheel
30
tracks.
30 gates.
Oh, 30 gates, a lot of gates.
Yeah.
Through the properties, through the pastoral leases, but like I said before, the ridges were a lot of sheet rock and very hard, so you just pick your way through that. The road was very poorly defined in a lot of places, and in between the ridges there was a sandy 2-wheel track, so even though we were on the main road, it didn't look like that. And of course, because we left there in the middle of the day, by the time we arrived near Hague it was dusk, and so we had the headlights on, and actually Kat's got a photo she took through the windscreen of it. It's just amazing, fascinating country. And on the UHF we heard a conversation, I'm not sure whether it was aimed at us, but there were 2 guys talking about they saw a vehicle going across, and he said it's most unusual to see a vehicle at this time towing a trailer going, and I thought, well, that's probably us, and probably we are a bit unusual anyway, but that's what you do.
That's what you do.
Yeah,
You
that's
do.
right.
That's right.
I'll just digress for 1 second. Any punches on the trip?
No punctures. No, we did not have a puncture.
Right. Oh, hang on. What's going on?
Well,
Kat?
we shredded a tyre, but that wasn't a
That
puncture.
wasn't a puncture. We did a good job of that on the Great Central
Just
Road.
one.
Just one.
That's pretty good.
Well, that was my fault.
Right.
My stupidity, and I kicked myself around the block a couple of times, and Cass said, don't do that, but the tyres had probably done 5,000 kilometres, 6,000 kilometres, I suppose, on the caravan. When I got to Karratha, I checked, and they were fine. When we left Carnarvon and went east out to Kennedy Range and onto the dirt, I looked at her okay, and when we got to Laverton at the beginning of the Great Central Road, I didn't check. And then we're driving along, and all of a sudden I said to Kath, Houston, we've got a problem. And of course, all they were left were the two sidewalls of the tyre. So, luckily, I mean, we carry spares, so we changed that with a spare. Looked at the other one, and of course, there were chunks of rubber out the side, and the radial plies were visible. So we meandered slowly into the pines along the way, which I'd been to before, and put the car spare, which is why we had the hubs
So they
match
fit
the car.
Yep,
And that's why we bought the new Prado rather than the Land Cruiser, because the wheels, and it's important that the wheels are the same. So,
It's something we have to look at.
so we finished up with no spare. All the spares we had were on the road, but because they were brand new tyres,
Well, one really dicky spare, that one that was about to blow.
and that was a good lesson. But like I said to Kath, you know, we've always gone away with brand new tyres on the car and the caravan, and we've never had a problem. This time, half worn out, good lesson. And if I'd thought about that in Carnarvon, we would have just put a new set on. And the cost of it for another 5,000 or 6,000 kilometres is not worth worrying about.
That's right. That's right.
And the interesting thing though is the load on the car is about 500 kilograms per tyre. On the caravan, 2.2 tonnes. There's 200 kilograms on the ball, so you've got a tonne on each tyre. So you wouldn't expect to get 70,000 kilometres out of a tyre, probably 30. And so that's what we're aware of now.
And the terrain that you go on, of
Good
course.
lesson.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's
It's
right.
not
And we
just
drop our tyre pressures
Yes.
right down when
Yes.
we're
Yeah.
off-road. So,
perfect. Good sense.
So it was a good lesson, and we got out of jail. And actually, the rim had a couple of small dents on the outside of the rim, which I managed to hammer out with the rubber mallet that I always carry with me. And so when we got to Viewer and bought a new tyre, extra $50 a tyre, which I thought was pretty good value.
Yeah.
We were back on the road again, so it's not a problem.
Perfect. Okay, so the roads, the tyres, everything, you eventually end up, well, you get to Mingaloo.
Well, we got
Or Exmouth.
we got the Karratha first.
Karratha.
Because that's where my daughter and the family are. The
Right, oh,
grandkids.
okay. So you had a purpose?
So we timed it so the spreadsheet said we were going to get there on a particular day because it was school holiday time. And there was a gymnastics carnival and all the stuff associated with the holiday. So we had 10 great days.
with the kids.
in
So you've got,
Karratha with the
you've got
kids.
grandkids to see there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that
And-
was the purpose of the trip, actually. The main purpose was to go and see the grandkids
On sports day.
on, and the
Hang on,
gymnastics,
according to this.
according to that.
Oh, that was
Yes.
part of it. But I mean,
Part
Tim
of
and
it.
Angel got a boat
Right. Ah,
and the camper trailer and all the stuff. So we went out on the boat and picked oysters off the rocks and snorkeled.
Snorkeling and fishing.
And then part of that was, with them, went down to Exmouth to swim with the whale sharks, which is what we did.
tell me about it.
Well, we booked it from here before we left. It was a lot of money, and I said to Kath, it's a bit like climbing the Sydney Harbour Bridge. It doesn't matter what it costs, just pay the money and do it once.
Right.
We might do it twice,
and
but
the
do it once.
horizontal falls. You just pay the money.
Yeah, and you do it, and it's a lasting memory. Well, this was the same. We got up early in the morning. We were at a caravan park in Exmouth, so the coach came along, picked us up, took us around to the reef. We jumped on the boat, and out we went west into the wild blue. We got outside the reef, and there was about it would have been a 2 metre swell, I suppose. Just gentle, long swell, just mesmerising. The first thing they did was took us around by the outside of the reef and said, right, put all your gear on, wetsuit, snorkel, goggles, and have a snorkel. And I think that was just a test for them to see whether we could actually do it.
I was just going to ask, are you a swimmer? Are you a good...
Oh,
you know,
we've done that.
you're
We've
Oh,
snorkeled and scuba dived.
Yeah, scuba dived before.
Right.
The Great Barrier Reef, we've done a bit of that. And we snorkeled Mingaloo before. So we experienced snorkelers. So,
Do you know, Andrew, as a teenager when I went to Darwin, the last 3 years of school up there, And we used to go to all the places, like Berry Springs, Howard Springs, you know, all the rivers, before crocodiles infested the place. And we would spend hours just snorkeling, looking at the fish in the pools. It's amazing. I never ever snorkeled when I lived in South Australia. Went up there and there was a whole new life. So, and ever since then, so we're very comfortable, both of us, in the water. Yeah.
What was the difference between the Great Barrier Reef and this water that you're swimming in now?
Can I answer that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Great Barrier Reef was amazing, but you had to go out in a boat to actually get to snorkel the reef.
An hour or two.
An hour or two ride. I think it was Green Island or Green Point, whatever, and that's where we snorkeled. So you had to charter, you had to get on a boat to actually get to snorkel. The corals in Great Barrier Reef are incredibly colourful, but the fish are not. Opposite for Ningaloo, because at Ningaloo you can literally walk from the beach and the oyster stacks are right there. The corals are huge, absolutely huge, but not that colourful. But the fish are amazing. You've got rainbow fish and parrotfish, and the colours are spectacular in the fish. So they're both amazing, but different.
Different ways. So you head out, they give you a test on the water, see how you go, and then what?
Well, we're in about 30 metres of water, and we're looking down on these stacks of coral with white sand in between. These huge tunnels of white sand, almost like you're on a different planet looking down on this place. And with the swell, the white sand is shifting in these tunnels. It would have been probably as wide as this, 2 or 3 metres wide. And the sand's in with the tide and out with the tide, with the swell. And the fish are doing the same. They're heading in a direction, but they're moving forward and backwards with this current. And so that was a bit, I don't know what it was, ethereal or something, just to see what's happening. So back on the boat, and then they ply us with morning tea, and then you get lunch and afternoon tea and all sorts of stuff.
Never go swimming on a full stomach, they tell me.
That's a lot of baloney.
But they
Old wives' tales.
They employ pilots. They have spotted planes to find the whale sharks. So they know exactly the GPS
position, right?
the position.
Is there a season for these
Yes.
guys? It's a season, so you have to go at a particular time of the year.
They finish about late August, early September.
Oh, September.
Because they've gone now, because one of my friends was up there and they couldn't.
But from May to September.
I think it's May to late August.
Because it's the migratory period path of them. So
So the plane spots them, sends a message back, and up anchor, and away you go.
That's
they
it.
go, and they're guided by the aircraft. And then as soon as they spot the whale sharks, it's right, everybody in the water, and off you go.
They brief you beforehand what to do, how to do it.
There are set rules. You're not allowed to swim too close to the whale shark. You're not allowed to swim in front of it, and you're not allowed to get too close to behind its tail. So they brief you on all those rules, and they make sure that you know and that everybody is safe, because that's the number one priority, is to keep people safe. And they've got a number of amazing tour guide swimmers, and they have a resident photographer who comes in and takes a whole lot of photographs of everybody. So you've got a lovely photograph of yourself swimming next to the whale shark, at least one or two. So that's complimentary to the whole tour.
Well, you pay for it.
Well,
Yes.
yes, but that's part
We
of
get it. It's like free camping, isn't it?
That's right.
Inverted commas.
Yes.
It's not free. You just you do
Yeah,
it.
but that's part of the deal.
Is there a rope, a guide you have to hang on to a rope, or is it total free?
No, it's free
snorkeling?
swimming.
It's free swimming. Yeah.
There were, 20 of us on the boat? So we split into 2 groups of 10 or 12, whatever it was. And then so one group would go in, and the next group would go in, and you would swim. And the rules were you had to be 3 metres away from the whale shark on the side and 4 metres from the tail. Well,
And never in front.
the problem with the whale sharks is they don't swim in a straight line. So if they're swimming in a curve, you're forever trying to get away. And I think I couldn't have touched the whale shark, but I was much closer than 3 metres
Yeah,
away.
because he moved towards me at one stage. I had to move away because I was breaking the rules, because
Yeah.
could literally touch him at one stage.
So when you're
but I
swimming with
wasn't
a
prepared.
7 or 8 or 9 metre,
I was just going to say now, you're 2 metres, under 2 metres. How big are these, 7 or 8?
They range from 7 to about 15 metres.
Wow.
And the average one, I think, was 11 or 12.
about
that we
11,
saw.
yeah.
And how many were there?
We saw 3,
Yeah.
but we were in
Yeah.
the water about 8,
8 or
10
9
times. We thought we'd just get in and have a look. But we get back on and it tended to be lunch. I'm going to say, hang on, we've got to stop lunch because they've just spotted another whale shark. So in
Or
the
he's
water
close
again.
by, let's go. Or
And-
he's just there.
And and the other interesting thing was, we were over the reef and there was a turtle that we could see on the bottom. And I actually was too late, I missed that. Anyway, he decided to come out and he swam to the surface. So I reckon we swam for a couple of 100 metres alongside this turtle. They came out to the surface and looked around and swam with us. The photographer was on one side, I'm on the other, nobody else was there.
Wow.
And we swam for, I don't know, I reckon 10 minutes or so before it decided to just disappear into the depths. But just an amazing feeling to see these creatures. And he would have been, for his size, he would have been 100 years old, I would
He
say.
was big.
So he was a big guy.
Did you feel safe diving with
Always.
turtles and the sharks?
Well, whale sharks don't eat people.
Right.
I mean, if I was just small, if I was a piece of krill, I'd be worried, I suppose, if they ever worry. But no,
You wouldn't do it, I guess, if you thought
No.
there was a sense of danger.
no, that's right.
There was no fear involved. Just an overwhelming feeling of, wow, awesome. You swimming next to this amazingly huge, beautiful creature, and it just makes you think about how
Probably-
amazing. Yeah, it was just probably one of the most amazing experiences of my life, being so close to this beautiful, big, wild creature and being able to be there right next to it.
Bob and Kath, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Exmouth is 1,270 kilometres from Perth. Ningaloo Reef is 260 kilometres long. It's only 100 metres off the coast, although it's accessible from the beach in some places. There are around 200 species of hard corals and about 50 species of soft coral, and approximately 500 species of fish, from small parrotfish to some big fellas like the groper, coral trout and the occasional small reef shark. The tour that Bob and Kathy did had no age restrictions. As long as you were able and you could swim, then you can snorkel with a whale shark. Well, another once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to add to the bucket list. I'm Andrew Kennedy. This was Campfire Conversations. Catch you next time.